Boxing isn't pretty. While factors such as speed, reactions, punching power, quickness, and tactics often play a crucial role in determining the outcome of a match, there are instances where sheer desire becomes the deciding factor. When a fighter, despite lacking certain skills, possesses an overwhelming desire to win, they may resort to anything to achieve victory, including cheating and breaking the rules. These boxing villains may appear composed and in control outside the ring, but once the bell rings, their primal instincts take over and they unleash havoc. Here is our ranking of the top 10 greatest villains in the history of boxing. Number 10. Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano stands as one of the greatest heavyweight champions in the history of boxing. Marciano's punching power was unmatched in the heavyweight division. His left hand packed a tremendous punch, while his right was devastatingly forceful, leaving opponents in awe. However, Marciano's style was often marked by its awkwardness, especially during his early years. This led to instances where he found himself off balance in the ring. Rather than relying solely on clean punches, Marciano would incorporate forearms, elbows, and unintentional contact with his head as he aggressively closed in on his opponents. He was not opposed to utilizing low blows when the opportunity presented itself. Number 9. Bernard Hopkins. While Bernard Hopkins demonstrated a strong grasp of both offensive and defensive techniques, his ability to endure in the ring can also be attributed to his frequent use of roughhouse tactics. Whether it involved throwing forearms, elbows, or even employing headbutts, Hopkins showed a willingness to deliver these impactful strikes whenever he required an extra edge. He was infamous for hitting his opponents and roughing them up with his head. Referees would have to stop the fight multiple times due to Bernard's dirty playstyle. Number 8. Sandy Sadler. Sandy Sadler, a remarkable featherweight fighter during the 1940s and 50s, achieved an impressive record of 144 wins in his career. However, if Sadler ever perceived his opponent employing underhanded tactics against him, his demeanor would swiftly transform into that of a ruthless individual within the ropes. He resorted to throwing elbows, forearms, and headbutts, occasionally using the laces of his gloves as a weapon. His aggression extended to striking opponents from behind. The fight between him and Willie Pep is mostly known as the dirtiest fight the sport ever had to see. Sandy would grab Willie and then strike him from behind multiple times. Number 7. Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield gained a reputation as a formidable and relentless fighter throughout his illustrious tenure as a 5-time heavyweight champion. Holyfield was renowned for his aggressive approach, frequently stepping forward and using his head as a battering ram before delivering a powerful punch. This combination of head and fist strikes often made it challenging to discern the source of the inflicted damage. He'd go downwards while using his head so as not to get penalized and mark his attack off as repositioning or trying to smother the opponent. When gaining control of a fight, Holyfield was willing to employ any necessary tactics. If some of those tactics happened to venture outside the boundaries of the rules, he displayed no hesitation in utilizing them to his advantage. Number 6. Harry Greb. Harry Greb established himself as one of the premier middleweights from 1913 to 1926, amassing an impressive record of 108-8-3. However, Greb's victories were not solely achieved through conventional means. Greb became notorious for employing unorthodox tactics, including biting his opponents. Remarkably, he possessed the skill to execute such maneuvers discreetly, often eluding the attention of officials. Additionally, he expertly utilized his thumb, elbows, and knees to gain an edge over his adversaries. Greb was a talented fighter with a penchant for engaging in brawls, and he'd employ any means necessary, regardless of their adherence to the rules, to emerge victorious in his bouts. Number 5. Andrew Golota. Andrew Golota, a heavyweight fighter, has struggled to maintain composure inside the ring and has exhibited aggressive behavior resembling that of a thug once the bell rings. It was during the 1990s that Golota's actions drew significant attention. He infamously bit his opponent, Samson Poua, sinking his teeth into Poua's neck. Additionally, he resorted to using his head as a weapon to halt the progress of Donnell Nicholson. Consecutive disqualifications against Riddick Bowe followed these incidents for repeated low blows. Golota's reputation in the sport has been tarnished, as he's been consistently regarded as one of the dirtiest and most aggressive fighters. In one of his most iconic fights was Riddick Bowe, not once but twice. In both those fights, Golota would get himself disqualified because he was hitting Bowe in the groin multiple times. Number 4. Fritzy Zivic. Fritzy Zivic, a welterweight fighter, earned a reputation as one of the most rugged and rough fighters in the annals of boxing. Zivic knew how to gain an advantage in a bout through any means necessary, as his skills as a boxer or brawler were not his strongest assets. Nevertheless, Zivic excelled at utilizing his thumb, glove laces, elbows, and head to great effect. These tactics made him a true master of unconventional methods. According to Freddie Fierro, Jivic's former trainer, during clinches with his opponents, Jivic would often inflict the most damage, showcasing his prowess and effectiveness in close quarters combat. Number 3. Charles "Sonny" Liston. Sonny Liston stood out as one of the heavyweight division's most formidable punchers, renowned for his raw power. Before his boxing career, Liston served time in prison for robbery. Upon entering the sport, he established himself as one of the most formidable and ruthless competitors. Liston's corner applied a substance to his gloves during the break between rounds in his fight against Ali, which resulted in Ali experiencing extreme discomfort and temporary blindness in the following round. Liston's lack of honesty and sportsmanship in the ring tarnished his reputation and cast a shadow on the sport itself. Number 2. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was undoubtedly one of the most formidable and intimidating fighters in the history of boxing. However, Tyson's career took a turn following his loss of the title to James "Buster" Douglas in 1990. His focus wavered inside and outside the ring, leading to a decline in his ability to dominate opponents. This reached a disturbing climax during his 1997 bout against Evander Holyfield. In a shocking and repugnant act, Tyson infamously bit off a portion of Holyfield's ear, creating an indelible image of brutality and savagery within the sport. This incident is one of the most grotesque and disturbing acts ever witnessed in the history of boxing. Number 1. Louis Resto. In 1983, Louis Resto, a mediocre welterweight fighter, was set to face the up-and-coming Billy Collins Jr. Initially, Collins seemed to possess superior speed, quickness, and punching power than his opponent. However, as the fight progressed, Resto relentlessly pummeled Collins. Each blow he delivered felt like a hammer striking a fragile glass window. Collins endured 10 rounds of brutal punishment, ultimately losing the fight unanimously. After the fight, as Collins exchanged handshakes with Resto and touched his gloves, he discovered something shocking. There was no padding. It later emerged that Resto's hands had been wrapped with plaster-infused tape. Resto and his trainer, Panama Lewis, were found guilty of this deceitful act and served time for their actions. Meanwhile, Collins suffered from impaired vision and depression following the bout, and tragically he lost his life in a car accident 9 months later. Many speculated that he was intoxicated due to the loss of his career, and others believed it was a suicide. And that's a wrap on the world of boxing's major villains. These larger-than-life characters brought drama, controversy, and unforgettable moments to the ring. Love them or hate them, they left an indelible mark on the sport. With that said, thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed our list of boxing villains. We'll see you guys in the next video. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed it. Until next time.